Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Since the Road to Ryzen series has kind of come to an end, or at least for now, I'm going to start a new series. This new series will be about IP cameras. For the people who've been reading my blog for a few years, they know I've had some interest in IP cameras for a while now. A few years back, when I was researching IP cameras, I came across the 5 megapixel DM365 and 368, otherwise known as the Texas Instruments Da Vinci series. And those cameras offered a lot of value for good money. Of course, they were Chinese cameras, but they've served us well for up until now, and I use them at home, and I've used them at the events, and even used them to time-lapse and film building this house, of which you can see series over here. There's no images of the time-lapse yet, but I'm working on it. So those 5 megapixel cameras had all the features I wanted. They had great details because of the 5 megapixels, and they've worked quite well. But the models become a few years old, and last year I thought, I saw some new sensor introductions and some new SoCs or processors that are behind the sensors. So I thought, let's order a few models and test them out. These were 3 4 megapixel cameras and 2 5 megapixel cameras, like I was used to. The results? All of them were utter shit. I mean, there's not much good I can say about them. The problems I had with them, well, some of them would either just reboot every few hours, and if you say, well, maybe it was that the one you got. Well, no, I had 2, and they both did that. It's just bad software. Others would spontaneously lose their settings after 1 hour, 1 day, or 1 week. Some others would have horrible grainy picture, and I mean, you can say your sensor is 4 megapixel, but if the picture looks like crap and has less detail than a 1 megapixel sensor, what good is it? So I kind of gave up on that, never made videos about them, and well, they're in a cupboard somewhere for reference, but I probably won't use those again. This year I saw some new movements in the IP camera market, especially with the introduction of some new 4 megapixel sensors, some new IP behind it, or SoC processor, and the introduction of affordable 8 megapixel cameras, which brings us a 4K image or picture. So that was interesting. So I got a few models of those, and we'll discuss those in my next video. But I'm getting kind of off track. This is the introduction of a new series. So why would you need an IP camera or want one? Well, as I already mentioned previously, I used them to build a time-lapse for the building of this house. But during the day, I also used them to log in remotely and check who was on the site and maybe what work they were doing. And during the night, they provided security. Or rather, I don't like saying that cameras provide security. Because if a burglar or someone wants to enter your house, the camera isn't going to stop them. It's not a fence. But if a burglar is scoping the neighborhood and they see your house having cameras and your neighbor's doesn't, it will certainly work as a deterrent. And if despite the cameras they still do decide to break in, you'll have evidence of the break-in, which can later be used to research your case. Another example we recently came across: if you hire a new cleaning service and you don't really know if you can trust those people or not. Well, if you have some cameras, you can see what they did in your house and if they actually cleaned or maybe were there for something else. So, does a camera provide security? I guess it's a yes and no. It's a personal opinion. It's not a fence, but in its own way, it does function as a deterrent as a fence does. So, it's up to you, I guess. For me personally, it does give me a feeling of security. Anytime during the day, or if you're away for a weekend or on holiday, I can always check the cameras and see if everything's still alright. And if something did happen, I'll have video evidence of what happened, and who knows when it'll come in handy. For instance, you have your car parked in your driveway, and someone decides to drive up your street, scrape up your car, and just leave. Now you have a camera, and if your camera is good enough, you'll have his license plate. Other uses I mentioned are running a time-lapse using the same camera, or even streaming the camera to the internet for, well, whatever reason, really. So, you'll have to decide for yourself if an IP camera is interesting for you or not. In the next video, we'll be talking about what types of IP camera there are, and what the hell does PTZ and PoE stand for, and do you need it or want it? So, I hope to see you back in the next video, and let me know in the comments if you maybe already have IP cameras and which type. It'd be interesting to know. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.